deck guide from Bovine Hamster. So today has seen the release of the new hero, Lieutenant Belica, and I've been experimenting with various different ideas of the decks. I've worked on a cooldown deck, I've worked on a caster deck, but surprisingly the one that I found the most enjoyable is an anti-tank deck. Okay, now this deck is designed purely for you to stay alive and for you to help your teammates melt any of the other opponents. This deck will give you about 120 to 130 physical armor penetration. Sorry, not penetration, shredding. And it will give you about 120 energy shred as well. And all you have to do is just auto attack someone. So this deck is pretty simple. You see someone being attacked by your team, you shoot them, your team suddenly do an extra 20 to 30% damage on that person. It just removes their armor. Okay, and we're going to go through exactly how this works. Here we go. So for this deck, you will need just 29 cards for this. Bear in mind this is a gimmick deck, guys, and it is more of a support for your team rather than a damage dealing deck. Okay, you're not going to do a lot of damage with this deck, by the way. So we start off with cast token, health potion, obviously health regeneration there, and you got yourself a health token just to kind of give yourself a little bit of sustain against any aggressive opponents or ganks. She has no escapes, so you've got to be very wary that you are a target for ganks. And with my experience with the games that I've had today, 6 or 7 games that I've had today, she gets put mid. I don't know why she gets put mid. I think it's because she's a caster, but people seem to put her mid. Okay, so over here, as with all decks, I assume that my teammates are noobs and I carry a key at all times. This means that if at 5 or 6 minutes you find that your team haven't got any harvesters, remember the harvesters are up at 3 minutes, the outer one's at 6 minutes, and then the prime harvester is up at 9 minutes, then you can get them yourselves. And it's really good XP, so I very much recommend doing that. So the first item that I get on this lady is her Major Sword. I get that just to keep the vision going. I don't upgrade any of the Major Swords yet, and I generally go second the Elder Mage Amulet. Now at this point, with your first 6 points here invested in your Elder Mage Amulet and the Major Sword here, you've got to see what's happening with your team. If they are not fighting, then you can continue to farm and you can upgrade this Elder Mage Amulet and move on to the Chronomancer disc. Okay, if there are lots of fights going on, you need to be in the thick of this. Now you've got to decide, is it someone who has a lot of physical armor that you are fighting up against, or the majority of their team that you are fighting against have physical armor, or do they have a lot of energy armor? Okay, because this then dictates which is your next item that you are going to get. Okay, so if you notice that maybe there's a full-on tank chimera, okay, and he's got like 2,000 health and no one's doing any damage to him because he has so much physical armor, then the first thing you need to do is you need to stack your physical armor, and that's where this tempered plate comes into it. Okay, this tempered plate, which we fill 10 points worth of armor. Okay, this will give you 240-ish, we'll say 240-ish armor. Okay, which is going to give you a lot of sustainability. But the most important, the next item that you get. Once you have fully upgraded this, then you move on to the gimmick of this deck, and that is the Satori Cloak. This Satori Cloak, when you hit with your basic attack, it shreds the enemy's physical armor and or energy armor equal to 50% of your current physical and or energy armor value for 4 seconds. Every time you hit, this is a passive with your auto attack. So if you've got 240 physical armor, you are going to be shredding 120 physical armor off of whoever it is that you're auto attacking. So this Chimera jumps in, you start shooting him in the face. Next thing you know is all of your physical DPS are suddenly hitting him for tons, and he hasn't got a clue why. Okay? If they are energy, then you will upgrade and get the Satori Cloak first, as it has the same amount of physical armor. Well, minus 22 because you don't get a bonus for fully upgrading this. Okay? So once you've got that, if you are finding yourself in trouble or needing to catch up, I always get the Tempest Pearl for my team here, which I've stuck 3 cast tokens into. You can then, if you haven't already, go back, finish your Elder Mage Amulet. Okay, this gives you a lovely 600 extra health. You are going to be very tanky in this build. You can then move on to your Chronomancer's disc, again upgraded with a cast, 2 casts and a minor cast. Okay, for a grand total of 60 points here. Now I like to get both the temper plate and all of the energy armor as well, because every time you hit someone with your auto attack, not only are you shredding 120 physical armor, you are shredding up to 120 energy armor as well. Okay, as long as your team are attacking a single target and not like most pubs just randomly running around like headless chickens going, oh my god, I haven't got a clue what I'm supposed to be doing here, then you'll be fine. You'll see your team attack someone, you just auto attack them once, and then you just watch them explode. This is a really fun deck to play with. You'll see someone who has gone full tank, maybe it's a Greystone, maybe it's a Steel, maybe it's a tank Chimera. Just jump into the middle of all your guys and then just evaporate, and they'll be back at their base whilst they're dead, scratching their heads, just thinking, what happened? Like, I've got 240 armor. I don't understand why no one is why everyone's doing all this damage to me. It's because you are shredding 120 of that straight away. In addition, obviously, you've got all the armor penetration on your team as well. Okay, armor penetration obviously working different for shred, but this is my gimmick anti-tank Lieutenant Belica build, and we'll just go over this one last time. We've got a cast token in there, we've got a health potion, we've got a health token, we've got a Lord's Key in there because we just assume our teammates are idiots. We've got a Chronomancer disc with 2 cast tokens and 1 minor cast token. We have an Elder Mage Amulet with a greater health, a cast token and a minor cast token. We've got a Major Sword with a major cast, and a minor cast. Temper Plate here with a greater guard, a guard, and a guard. The Satori Cloak with Divine Barrier, Barrier, and Barrier, and finally the Tempest Pearl here with 3 cast tokens in there. Okay, so you put this together, give it a go. Let me know how it works in the description, guys, below. And if there's any other decks or builds you'd like me to take a look at or work on, then give me a shout. For WT North, who asked for their Rampage, then I will be doing that next week, guys. If you want to find me, I will be streaming now on Twitch at Bovine Hamster at Twitch TV. You can obviously find my Twitter account, Bovine Hamster, where I will be putting this guide up as well. You can find my Facebook as well, Bovine Hamster. So like, favorite, subscribe to all of the socials, please. Give me some love. Hamsters like loves, okay? And I shall speak to you soon, guys. Take care.